Oh, Vegeta, you and your wacky antics. When will you ever learn? If you grew up in the mid to late 2000s and could afford DirecTV, you likely pursued every cartoon channel that was available. You know, ones like Disney XD, Disney, Cartoon Network, Boomerang, Jetix, and every variation of Nickelodeon. And then you realize you did it for so long, you fell asleep on the couch again. Not again. Then one fateful day on uh, May 24th, 2010, you run into this new show called Dragon Ball Z Kai. The first thing you see being a man with very spiky hair. Gee, that would be a great toy for a clumsy child. Then you become extremely invested in shirtless screaming men with golden hair. And your life changes forever, gaining a new hyperfixation that lasts until this very day and will likely last for the rest of your life. That last part may have been projecting a bit. Dragon Ball is one of those franchises that I've loved since I was a kid, including but not limited to Spider-Man, SpongeBob, most Nintendo games, and Sonic, but you know that already. Among the million reasons I love this series, the art style is something I really came to appreciate as I got older, when I understood what animation was, doubly so when I started reading the manga a few years ago. We all know how influential Dragon Ball and Akira Toriyama is, so I'll just cut right to the chase and mention how his charming style extends outside of Dragon Ball. When I was a wee lad, I remember when I saw Chrono Trigger for the first time and was extremely confused about why it looked so much like Dragon Ball. And before I could even think about how Square hasn't been sued yet, even though this game came out in '95, so that obviously would have happened already, I saw who did the character designs and said, oh, that makes a lot of sense actually. A long time after that, I learned about Toriyama's work on Dragon Quest, his other manga series like Nekomanjin and Dr. Slump, and his various smaller stories that I learned about through a great video by Forgotten Relics. For me, no matter the material, Toriyama's art is incredible, and after his really unfortunate passing, I've been appreciating it now more than ever. This is not me mourning his death on video. I just want to talk about how much I adore his art. I even bought 2 books that compile his work on Dragon Ball and Dragon Quest. Dragon Ball's entire run by itself is already a clear example of Toriyama's evolution as an artist, from the soft, rounder look of early Dragon Ball to the more angular look of Dragon Ball Z. But I'm focusing more on the promotional art rather than the manga, obviously because of the books, but also just because I think it's more interesting. I love that both books have these folded pages that extend to poster size. It's really neat, along with the few art pieces that take up 2 whole pages. You can already tell Toriyama likes to draw vehicles. Even in the late 80s, they look super detailed despite the relatively simple look of the exteriors. Oh look, it's old-fashioned anime fans. This is where you see Toriyama giving Bulma some of her best outfits, and this one is my absolute favorite. The bike next to her is a great add-on, and then there's Goku looking like he's about to... Which is Dragon Ball. I love the use of light colors and character posing. It gives me a very warm and comfy vibe, even with the more dramatic pieces that features a villain. It's part of what makes Dragon Ball fun, especially towards the end of the manga. That final arc is some of the best shit I've ever read. The action posing, the flow of the art, every moment feels intense. It translates to the anime pretty well too. Alright, let's take a little break from Dragon Ball and move on to Dr. Slump. This series, much like Dragon Ball, gives me a very comfy feeling with its simplicity. It's a lot more cartoony than Dragon Ball, which I'm pretty sure was the intention. It is a gag manga after all. What makes Arale stand out to me is her funny little expressions. The art from all of the volume covers are pretty striking. 3 to 7 are just so lively and colorful. 10 is my favorite because she just looks so darn cute with that cowboy hat. Wait, I didn't know he briefly brought the manga back around Dragon Ball Z's end. That's pretty cool actually. Too bad they never reprinted this series after 2009 in the States, so not only do we never get these later volumes, apparently the localization is not that great, so that's cool. Oh, I love being into a less popular series that never gets a modern release. At least there's a fan translation of the PS1 game. That's nice. I mean, I could always learn Japanese. With today's sponsor, Duolingo! Dragon Quest is a pretty fun series of RPGs, and the work Toriyama has done for it is nothing short of amazing. I love to just look at the box art for all of the games. It's a good thing that half of them got multiple re-releases, so there's plenty of art to look at. Seriously, it's kind of weird which games they ported or remade to what console. Dragon Quest 1 through 4 were originally released for the Famicom in the 80s, then eventually 5 came out for the Super Famicom in 1992. 1 and 2 were remade in 93, then 6 came out in 95, then 3 got a remake about a year later. A long while after, 7 finally comes out on the PlayStation in the year 2000, with 4 getting a remake also a year later. 5 got remade on the PS2 in 2004, with 8 coming out later that year. 4 and 5 got another port on the DS, with 9 exclusively coming out for the handheld in 2009, and for whatever reason never got a port, remake, or remaster ever, not even a mobile port, which most of the other games got. Oh yeah, and 6 got a re-release on the DS in 2010, way to be late to the party. We eventually got 10 a couple of years later on the Wii, with 7 getting a 3DS port that same year. 10 got a Wii U port, sorry for your loss, in 2014, and then 8 got re-released on the 3DS in 2015. And I think 10 got a 3DS and Switch port in 2017, with 11 coming out on the PS4 and 3DS that same year, with a Switch port in 2019. 10 got more ports on the PS4 and PS5, and I'm pretty sure I missed the early games getting GBC versions, and I think most of the games were on the 3DS Virtual Console, and I can't forget about those mobile ports.
Let's move on to the actual art, shall we?
From what I understand, Toriyama had a lot of creative freedom with the monster and character designs in the earlier games, but as the series got popular, that freedom was a little held back. Regardless, the protagonists are great standouts.
8 being the best one, by the way. If I had known 8 had a 3DS port, I would have bought that years ago, but now it's too late and it costs as much as a bookshelf.
3 is a pretty close second, 5 and 11 are pretty good too. Speaking of the many ports, I find it interesting that for the DS ports of 4 and 5, they used art from the PS1 and PS2 versions of the games respectively, but with 6, of course, not getting a re-release until the DS, had new art drawn for it. The 3DS ports of 7 and 8 obviously got new art as well. Jesus, I got distracted. I'm gonna turn back the clock to the first game. Oh my god, look! It's the famous slime in his first appearance! Why is he purple? We also got Draggy, Ghost, Skeleton, Golem, Funny Wizard. Okay, next game. Just the difference between the covers of the original game and the SNES version is pretty drastic, from tiny baby to grown man. A lot of the monsters in 2 have a very spooky vibe to them. I like it. Wispy Woods, is that you? 3 has my favorite art of the NES and SNES games. The composition is fantastic. I think it has some of my favorite monsters too. I didn't know semen came in Orange Crush flavor. Small Satan is adorable. There's a fat pig, a mushroom, a baby slime, a lake bird, hell, and a monkey! Some of these designs are so weird, I love it. Alright, I'm ready to go back to Dragon Ball now. The weekly Shonen Jump art goes so hard in this era, especially the Cell Saga stuff, holy shit! You can tell as the series went on, Toriyama just gave everyone really big muscles. I mean, hey, I'm not complaining. I'm also biased because Trunks is my favorite character, so any art piece he's in, I automatically love it. But seriously, this cover is something I would hang on my wall. You know, I've always been curious as to what Cell looks like without his spots. Oh my god! That is incredibly cursed. Get it away from me. Again, the art pieces that spread on both pages are so cool. We aren't taking up any space with anything else. This deserves to be seen on its own. I always love the art showing the characters just doing normal things. Seeing the group at the beach, this cute fake out with Goku and Vegeta playing the Super Famicom as Super Saiyans. For some reason. I don't know, maybe Vegeta finally learned to keep it on without having to take up any energy. What? And Vegeta screwing up this shot in bowling somehow. Come on, man, really? How did you mess that up? You shoot energy out of your hands all the time in battle. Oh, now the mid to late 90s is one of my favorite eras of Toriyama's style. The illustrations he made for the complete books have great posing, and Goku has tan skin, like he should. Look, it makes sense. He's outside all the time, and they give him that dark skin tone and path to power in throughout all of GT, but the anime keeps making him look like a cracker. It's really not that big of a deal. The darker skin tone just works for me. Lint Leech. The art during the Buu Saga is even better. This drawing specifically of Super Saiyan 3 Goku has great colors and shading. They actually used this as the cover of the last Visbig volume. And out of all the weekly Shonen Jump title pages, this is the cream of the crop. I'd get a poster of this too. Anytime Dragon Ball is referenced, it makes me very happy. Although the crowning jewel of Toriyama's illustrations for Dragon Ball, this is my actual all-time favorite. Reasons being 1, Goku is in his best outfit. 2, the lighting, shading, and colors look absolutely perfect. I would absolutely get a poster of this, no hesitation at all. Framed, of course. I am not the type of person to stick raw posters on my wall. What do I look like, some kind of freak? Well, I mean, I do have these marks on my wall and I've still yet to wipe them off. Come on, man, this is just gross. And 3, I love the power pole. It's the sole reason I am looking forward to Daima. The concept illustrations for GT look great. Giru is my little baby boy and I will not take any slander against him. Oh my god, Nekomajin, I love this little guy. I haven't read the manga, so I can't
can't say too much about it, but his design is great. He's very cute. I love him a lot. Now, also around the mid-90s is when Chrono Trigger was released, and like I said before, this art style is unmistakably Toriyama. I've never really seen the promotional art for this game before, and I gotta say, these really evoke that fantasy adventure feel. You can really tell he used his experience with Dragon Quest and gave Chrono its own look. The main cast really stand out from most RPG casts. I mean, how many video game RPG parties can you think of that has a frogman and a robot whose names are just Frog and Robo? The different art pieces of the cast in various locations are so much fun to look at. These two are my favorites. They show so much personality. I really want to see an anime film or series adaptation of this game. The cutscenes from the PS1 version already look great. Why not? Sandland got an anime. There's even a Dr. Slump crossover. I already kind of saw Luca as a fusion between Arale and Bulma. She's so fucking cute. Thank God it's on Steam so I don't have to buy the DS version because
Man, I love collecting old games. Who's selling Federation Force for that much? And who's trying to buy it?
This has to be my favorite era of Toriyama's art. The shading and coloring is really good. We got some nice illustrations for Jumpland and some cute sketches he did for the Dragon Box sets. God, I wish I had those. He even comments about how pricey they were, and yeah, 50 to 60 is a lot for a DVD set, but these are still considered the best complete sets, officially anyways. Although now that's not really the case because there's that French Blu-ray that's coming out for Dragon Ball, so if they do the whole series, who knows? We may not have to be stuck with the crowdfund set being the last one. The art for the Perfect Edition is unmatched. Every character on these covers are done justice. Most of the characters have the color scheme you'd expect, but Dodoria looks sick and Kibito looks a bit blue in the face. I want to buy this set just for the covers alone, but unfortunately they were made a bit cheaply and the pages are nearly see-through and I do not care for that. Now let's move on to some more manga Toriyama wrote. Sandland and Jacko the Patrolman. I'm only picking these two because I like them the most in terms of his work outside of Dragon Ball. Now, even though they're 13 years apart, that post-90s style of Toriyama's is just, it's outstanding. He is still keeping true to the simple designs with a lot of personality. And just to be honest, I haven't fully read either story, but I did watch the Sandland anime at least, which is actually pretty good. You should watch it. It's not gonna blow your mind or anything, but does everything have to? I want to read these someday, which means I actually will.
Don't you second guess me, I'm a real fan, I swear. No shit.
I think it's about time we get back to Dragon Quest. I don't really mess with 4's design all that much, but the PS1 cover does make him look pretty cool. Alright, I'm gonna speed through my favorite monsters for the rest of these games for the sake of brevity. Bodkin is pretty good. Bone Baron is fun spooky. I wasn't into this one until I realized his name was Mouse Flap, and now I love him. That's just a dude in a suit. I think he got lost. Featherweight is funny. I don't like how Cyclone is looking at me. Plagiarism. Unfortunate. Balzac, more like Ballsack. King Slime is the best one ever in any game. I want a big plush of him. We can't forget about Winky. Splatty Punk is just a little guy, and so is Komodo. And the most intimidating monster of them all. A mole with a shovel. Oh man, that cover art of both versions of 5. For his color scheme, white and purple go really well together. The backgrounds are just beautiful. Oh, and look at the baby saber cub. He's so baby. Can I keep him? Comparing these two works of art together, Bianca almost looks like a completely different character. I will keep saying this. The 2000s is Toriyama's best art style. I'm gonna keep saying it. It looks so good. Is it me or are the monsters getting weirder and weirder with each game? Wax Murder. I just actually thought about his name, Wax Murderer. Like an axe murderer, but he's holding a knife. They should have given him an axe. That'd have been so much funnier. Bad Apple, Cactuball, and Slime Knight are pretty good. But what the hell is Snake Handler? Why is the ferret from Food Fight green and gassy? I really want to know what was going on in Toriyama's head when he came up with some of these. Okay, you know what? 6 is growing on me. I like this drawing of him specifically. I don't know, it just does it for me. And yes, maybe I think he's cute, what of it?
I can have fictional crushes if I want to. Don't look at me like you're above that. You probably have a fictional crush on Marisa or something. Wait, no, that's me. Fuck!
Back to Dragon Ball. Oh my god, the art for the single volume DVDs look so good. I'm telling you, it's the coloring and the shading, just the way he lights things. Ew! Of course, we have some more Nekomajin. Oh, and did you ever want to see Arale if she went through an edgy phase? There you go. She looks like the type that would walk into a Hot Topic to just look at everything and walk out. How many of you knew that the Super Saiyan 4 transformation wasn't designed by Toriyama? I mean, I just kind of assumed since he at least redesigned Goku, Pan, and Trunks, but I was wrong, go figure. Now we're heading towards his art from the 2010s with a nice illustration of Goku celebrating the release of Dragon Ball Kai. I can't wait to see what sort of makeover they've given the Dragon Ball anime. Well, to be completely honest, Mr. Toriyama, some of the shots look a lot more like Homer just used his makeup gun.
That's why I invented this revolutionary makeup gun. Close your eyes.
I'm not sure how I feel about the artwork here compared to the rest, but I do like the super bold outlines. Now this is really neat seeing Goku and Arale together again, and the fact that these two were drawn to inspire those affected by the northeastern earthquakes in Japan, that's really sweet. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting about that Bardock special. Fun fact, us American fans were only able to watch it via Dragon Ball Z for the Connect. Oh Jesus. Oh yes, Battle of Gods. This is still, to me, the best Dragon Ball movie to this day. It's awesome to see the design docs for Beerus and Whis. Man, I remember seeing the trailer for this movie when I was 13, being so excited to see it in theaters. Back then, anime films didn't play in a ton of theaters, and I always had to go to the Paradiso Theater like 30 minutes from my house. But it was worth it to see how many people were in the theater. They used one of the bigger rooms for it with red curtains at the entrance. The whole experience blew my mind. And now I just thought about how said experience was 10 years ago. I mean, I went to the 10th anniversary screening at a local theater last year, but now it's been 10 years since the North American release. I think I'm gonna be sick. And now, the final art pieces of this book are of Kid Goku going full circle. I always love this outfit for him. We do get to see all of the manga covers in order and all of Toriyama's portraits, that's cute, and 2 really interesting interviews with him from 1995 and 2013, and of course, an index for every art piece. And that's it for Dragon Ball. With the gap between main entries being 5 whole years, we see Toriyama's early 2000s style I love oh so much with Dragon Quest VII. The hero's color palette being mostly green makes me feel kind of lukewarm about it, but the backgrounds for the promo art are really detailed. The V-Jump cover of March has some really good shading. I love how the monster is almost covered in shadow. Wait, his name is Draculard? Draculard. I know it's probably a fat thing, but it honestly sounds like a slur to me. All I'm saying is, if you replace the L with a T, shit would not be okay.
I wonder what other characters are in here. Oh my god! God!
Not a lot of monsters to look at compared to the previous games, but this boss in particular looks really cool. I don't know the context of the second form, but it's so cool that he starts melting back into his original. It looks so nasty. Alright, a Dragon Quest game I've actually played. H design is so much fun, and the promo art for this game is my favorite so far. I love 8's expressions. They really give him that young, optimist look that pro tags like him need. And hey, speaking of, they put expression docs for the main characters that show off their personalities. Oh, that's what Yangus's hair looks like? I thought he was just bald. I think this game has some of the best character designs in general. Wow, there are a lot of NPCs in this game, and we even get a detailed look on how the ancient shit functions. I said shit again, didn't I? The ancient shit. Yes, as we all know, the ancient shit. It only takes one every 1,000 years. I need to keep playing 8. I really want to see how this boss fight looks in game. Yay, more monsters! Ooh, monkey! Holy shit. This guy's name is Cocketeer. That's funny. Ding-a-ling! I didn't want to go too in-depth with the spin-offs, but the designs for the Masked Queen and Tower of Mirrors is something I've never seen Toriyama draw before. It almost looks like if you combined Alice in Wonderland and Tim Burton. Not the Tim Burton movie, this one's more fun to look at. I don't have a lot to say about 9, but damn, that has to be one of the coolest looking dragons I have ever seen. Based on the art here, 9 and 10 seem to be the only mainline games where you can actually choose your class from the start. It even has some unused designs. What the hell would this class have been called? Don't say furry, I know you're thinking it. Hold on. I like this version of 10's design way more. Okay, I just realized the game is not a traditional RPG like the previous games. It's an MMO, even though it's a mainline game. Sounds like another famous RPG. Well, they are both under Square Enix, so maybe there was like a push to do an MMO back then. That explains the art of the different male and female characters of each race, because they're playable. Okay, the different races are all so distinct, and so are the NPCs, but you know, I live in America, so I can't play it. Now that is the most Dragon Ball design I've seen Toriyama do for Dragon Quest. Damn, now that's a boss design. I love the clothing, and its color scheme is weird, but I like that it's weird. Now we have some more really good character designs from the spin-offs. And this package art for builders is so cute. We even get to see the background by itself. That's great. Seeing these enemies chibi-ified actually works really well for the simplicity. I love the designs for the heroes. The red and blue contrast is adorable. Wait, this game was on the Vita? I only ever saw the PS4 version. Well, the North American version at least. Look, the box art in this region looks good and all, but I vastly prefer when box art is actually drawn. It makes it feel more I was gonna say autistic. It makes it feel more artistic to me. Speaking of, I'm gonna go past the book a little bit and look at the art for 11 and Builders 2. 11 also has some of the best character designs in the series. The main cast all look great and I love their different outfits. 11 straight up has 8's outfit in the Switch version. Now that's what I'm talking about. This outfit is for Eric? Fucks, dude. You know, Builders 2 looks pretty great, but I kinda like the heroes from the first game more, but hey, they still look pretty good. They were drawn by Akira Toriyama after all, so of course they do. Well, that's it. That's all the art I wanted to go over. If you're a fan of Toriyama's work, I seriously recommend these books. They are so fun to go through. Now, it still hurts that Akira Toriyama is gone, but since he was such an amazing artist, his legacy will live on forever. Not just through internet archiving, but with the people he's inspired one way or another, and that feels good to know. Dragon Ball shaped a part of my childhood, so I'm not sure what I'd be doing if Dragon Ball never existed. But it does, so I will always appreciate what the series has done for me.